Kathryn, welcome. It's great to talk to you. As the department rolls out its zero trust strategy, starts to execute on it, how can it best measure whether it's making the progress that it wants and whether it's moving toward the end state that it's trying to get to?
Zero trust architecture is such a hot buzzword, right? And it's true. A lot of the panelists and the feedback that we're hearing from the experts is we really need to remind ourselves that this is a state of mind. Mm-hmm. It's an approach. It's a process. It's an architecture. So as our cybersecurity specialists look to enforce that in their respective departments, which is very important, we also have to take a look at the external factors, right? So what we're seeing at Human Security is that 3/4 of the fraud that we're detecting is coming from residential devices infected with malware. Mm-hmm. So imagine if you are an employee and you're doing all the right things, mm-hmm. right? Being careful with your passwords and what you click on, but you're utilizing your mobile device to access critical information or platforms, mm-hmm. and that has been compromised, then zero trust actually starts with knowing who is real, mm-hmm. right? It's whether or not the interaction that they're seeing is coming from the person that they expect to see. Yeah. And in terms of measurement, if we look at the macro influencers, our core mission has always been, for the past decade, has been to disrupt the economics of cybercrime, mm-hmm. right? Because zero trust architecture, all of this exists because we want to create a safe ecosystem, not only digitally for practitioners and for platforms, but more importantly for citizens, mm-hmm. people who utilize the internet, our children, our grandparents. Mm-hmm. And by disrupting the economics, we're measuring our success by bringing criminal and financial consequences, mm-hmm. to bad actors, to nation states, to anybody looking to exploit financially or compromise mission success by conducting cyber warfare. Mm-hmm. So I would say one of the key metrics of success, not only for zero trust, but to see whether or not we're making a dent in keeping the cyber landscape safe, is convictions.
Mm-hmm. I like the term that you use, state of mind, to describe how people are approaching zero trust. That sounds as much like a cultural issue and a worldview issue as a technology issue, right?
There are many different nonprofit organizations, for example. The Cyber Guild comes to mind, where we are all collectively trying to weave cybersecurity into the fabric of humanity. Mm-hmm. And it should be as natural to us as brushing our teeth, how to embrace the right security protocols. But there is a point in which we need to decrease the cost of customer thinking for the individual user. And that's where federal government, through regulations and policies, can help set the standards. Mm-hmm. Practitioners can help ensure that that is protected. And then everybody who uses technology can ensure that they're protecting themselves with the best practices to a certain extent as well.
Mm-hmm. Is there a point where DOD or some other federal agency or the government as a whole can say, we're doing well? Or is this such a journey that there's not really a time where one can say, this is successful, or we need to go in a different direction, this is not working the way we hoped?
My experience is very hard within cyber and in many industries to think that binary. Mm-hmm. Are we doing well? Are we not doing well? If we're doing incrementally better than we did yesterday, we should embrace that. Mm-hmm. We should think about the momentum and then carry it forward to the next day, because cyber and technology, we've seen with ChatGPT, we've seen with changes in the embracing of quantum, all of these buzzwords, technology is evolving at a pace that's just unprecedented, to the point where policy can't even keep up, right? We're trying to. So we probably will never get to a point where we're ahead of the curve. Mm-hmm. Maybe we will, optimistically, yeah. But we should think about it as making incremental gains.
Kathryn, thanks very much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.